everyone, and welcome to Let's Stump Jen, the show where I answer your science questions and we have a bit of fun. Hi Jenny, for some reason
Hi.
guests aren't showing up and I don't know why.
Brain Bug will be here in a moment.
Yeah, what on earth is going on? Okay. Something weird is happening and I don't know. It was working before and for some reason now I can't see anyone. Okay. I'm sorry people. Technical difficulties. Yeah. People should be visible. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, it's grabbing it from the wrong display for some reason. Okay. See if I can fix this. I am apologizing because, yeah. No, that still isn't working. Why is that not working? Don't you just hate problems?
Not when there's someone else's.
Oh, wow. Just, yeah. But, okay, for some reason, it does not want to show anyone. Hi, Jeff.
Here comes somebody.
They can all hear you. They just can't see you because for some reason my OBS is being a bitch. Yeah, none of these are actually showing up for some odd reason. Okay, maybe if I grab one of the other ones. No, not showing up at all. Weird. I don't know. And if I restart OBS, it kills the stream. That'll be fun. Alright, okay, I'll cheat. I can recreate it. So this is what happens when you have problems for some stupid reason for things that were actually already working. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't want to grab. Maybe it's the. Hang on, if I minimize that and bring it back up, maybe. No.
Just songs that I have to join through Just songs that I have to rejoin through Discord.
No. It's actually a entirely a problem with
OBS being funny.
Yeah, OBS being funny, and I don't know why.
Well, OBS stands for Our Bad Software.
Oh, there we go. I will cheat and I will grab you guys again, and we'll have a bit of fun. People get to see how we make these things work. It's perfectly fine. Whoa. Why I use these? They're, Yep. Okay, that's not how you do that. And then I just resize you guys.
You know, you watch network TV, and a lot of them are using Zoom and Skype and stuff to do their shows now because of the pandemic.
Oh,
and they have the same goddamn problems as we do.
Oh, yeah, they definitely do. So what I'll do is I'll add the other three in, even though I don't have anybody on them yet. And that way, as we get people in, I'll be able to do that. I am so sorry, chat. I'm not even looking at you at the moment because I'm trying to sort this out. And I don't know why it killed my other ones. They were working a second ago, and then as soon as I went live, it goes, no, I'm not going to grab the window anymore. So,
hello, chat.
Hello, chat. Yes, hello, chat. It's always fun when things decide not to work. But it's okay. We can improvise. So come down here. And across here, and do a resize. Whoa, what did I just do? Messed it up. That's exactly what I did. So let's see how much more.
Alright.
I do that and
Chat's asking how to use size these things on OBS. I think it's an attempt to stump you.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not really. That's just me being a dick.
Yeah. There we go. We have people added, and now I can flick back and look at the chat. So, hi chat. I am so sorry about that. I set it up so we can have the guests on, and for some reason my OBS just decides to be stupid. At least it wasn't audio this time, but it's worse if it's not audio, because I look really stupid because I have to edit a OBS screen up in live. That was so much fun. Yes, and it's totally thrown me. I have no idea what I was doing now. Hi Jenny. Hi Jeff. Thank you for joining me. I believe Brainbug's going to hop in with us, and possibly Sarcastic Barman. However, I realise that we're not following each other on Twitter, so I can't send him the link.
Who? Barman?
Barman, yeah.
Or
so.
Give me a second.
Thanks, Jeff. So we will have a couple other people hop in a little while. Maybe Chad as well if he's in the chat. So
Chad.
Send Chad a link. Chad's always fun to have. Jeez, I should really learn how to phrase better, shouldn't I? So if anybody actually missed Dave's show just preceding this one, that ended up mostly ending up being a science show too, which was an awful lot of fun. Once people actually learnt stuff from.
I'm going to be like that. People coming in here, I'm going to be like the dumbest guy in the room here now. If it was science stuff, without a doubt.
I did my best to eliminate any education going on, but
you did your best, Jenny.
Oh, we are following each other. I looked up the wrong Sarcastic Barman because I'm an idiot. Yeah, I forgot.
I do have two Sarcastic Barman accounts.
Yeah,
okay, I
forgot there was a "the" in front of it. I was looking for it and I go, what the hell's wrong with me?
So I just sent you the link, so...
That's alright.
Hey, Sarcastic.
Hello! Long time no see. Oh, 30 seconds. Yay!
It is. I'm tickled to be on with you.
Why do you guys block together? Yeah, I love that question. But we already answered that one, Dave.
It is the part of exception of me. It is pretty much everyone for the last stream coming in.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, because we haven't got Katie. It would be nice if we could have had Katie, but she's gone to eat and piddle in the street apparently. For context, you need to go and watch the last stream.
How can you confess something like that on TV? You know?
It's a very different country, the UK. Jeff, have you piddled in the street?
Occasionally, but it's only so that we, it's only like so that I do an Anthony Riley and pee into a bottle on a live stream,
All right, Chad's staying in the chat today. He's not joining us in the stream, but that's okay. We've got us, and we've hopefully have Brainbug in a bit. So Brian's always good, and we can actually diversify a bit with how the questions go. I do actually have a couple of things I want to cover, but given that took me so long to go, do we actually have a question that's serious in the chat? Because I know Dave asked about gauge blocks, but we already talked about that on your show, Dave, and the basic answer is it's probably got something to do with electrons at the boundary being shared between the two pieces of metal that helps them to stick together. The long answer is we don't really know.
Sammy's telling you to check your Twitter, Jen.
Oh, Sammy's telling me to check my Twitter.
If any of you know a machinist, ask them about the gauge block thing. Not all machinists know about it. They've never experienced it. I learned about it by accident. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I sat there at my bench for like an hour just going, what the fuck is going on? I'm checking everything for magnetism and
yeah.
How's that work?
Oh.
By the way, Granny, Yeah, if there is a god, yes, Marmite is the nectar of the gods.
No, it's not.
Oh dear. Yeah, you can put
Branston
questions in the
pickle.
chat, Granny. And here we have Sammy. Hey, Sammy. How are you?
Hey, long time no see.
Yeah, Matt,
I'm
it's
having
been
days
such a
out
long
of it.
time. So for some reason we ended up talking about piddling in the street again. It's because we've got British people here and they like to do that, apparently.
It's not that we like to do it. It's something that happens.
It's a cultural thing, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a lazy thing.
When I
Yeah, I thought it was just a male
when I
thing.
ran my car shop, it was not in the finest of neighborhoods.
Oh, okay. Carl
it
Edwards has a
wasn't like
Carl has
like
a question
desolate,
for us.
horrible neighborhood, but it was on an alley, and there were old cars, junk cars parked there, and it became one corner of it became kind of a place where a certain number of street people would come and use to defecate.
Yeah. Hi, Brian.
And so that's just a really gross thing to me because I had to clean it up. You know, I'm not going to let that shit sitting around on my lot. So
we have a question from Carl Edwards. Why does ice float?
Because it has air. Its density is less than that of water.
Yeah. Because its density is less than that of water, yes, it is the basic question. But what is it about the nature of ice that causes it to float? Because the problem when you talk about ice is there are different types of ice. And it's got to do with the structure of ice that actually forms on Earth that causes it to float. There are ice structures that form in space that wouldn't float because they have a denser nature. There is ice structure that can form in really cold lakes that does not float and can't float because of the nature of it. It has to do with the crystalline structure of the ice itself and how they sit together. And it's not so much they've got air in between them, because you can make ice in a vacuum and still have it float on water as long as the ice happens under the right as long as you create the right ice under the right conditions. So there's a different way of creating it if you create it in a vacuum. So you make sure there's no air pockets, but it will still float. And it is just because of the way that the lattice work within the crystalline structure of the ice is spaced, that regardless of whether it's got air in between it or nothing in between it, it's still going to be spaced in such a way that ice will weigh less than the water molecules, which are more tightly packed.
It's important to note that the oxygen molecules or the hydrogen molecules on the oxygen are not at 90 degrees but 105.
Yeah.
And so that'll change or makes the ability of it to have different shapes.
Water is actually water is one of the few compounds that will actually do this. There aren't actually that many that have that much variation in the ways they form in solids, so that the solid version will float on the liquid. It's actually quite a rare property.
No, nothing to do with gin and tonics, and God decided that if the ice was at the bottom, it'd change the flavour of the gin and tonic because you'd have to stir it weirdly, and it wouldn't bump in people's teeth, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
Although I find it really, really kind of cool when you have some ice in a glass and you add liquid and the ice stays on the bottom for some reason. Well, obviously because it's frozen to the bottom for a while, but it's still kind of a neat thing.
Negative slope on the phase diagram.
Where was that?
That was Chad. That was Chad. The smartest guy in the chat is definitely going to be able to stump us, but I want context for that statement.
Chad is.
Oh no, he's actually no. Chad's doing the complicated answer to the previous question. I just realised that.
Yeah, Chad is going to like completely wreck all of us. Did you realise this?
That's why I decided to stay out there.
Yeah.
Oh, Godless Granny, how far away is the farthest star that we can directly see with the Hubble? The farthest star that we could possibly see with Hubble, and I'm not sure if we could see it, would be 48 billion light years away. Now it would be. Oh, Chad's in the chat, but I can't bring him in. I'm sorry, Chad. We're full. I don't have the paid version of StreamYards to grab extra people in. I'm sorry, Chad.
I think people underestimate how much larger a billion is compared to a million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
the universe
A lot.
itself is approximately 96 billion light years across, and that's because of the expansion of the universe. So the further stars that we could see are now 48 billion light years away, but would have been 13.7 billion light years away when the light first left them. So
Isn't
Sorry to interrupt, Jen. I didn't realise I was muted, but I was just saying I'm the least scientific person here.
No,
I would
no, you're not.
gladly-
No, you're not.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Well, we can all argue on who's the least scientific. But
Okay.
are
I'll
you
drop
volunteering
Okay.
to drop
Hold
out
on,
so we
okay.
can get Chad in? Are
Okay,
you,
Sammy, we can.
Sammy?
We can.
Hey,
Were
See,
you
Jen,
volunteering
yeah,
to get out
let
so I
Chad
could
in.
get Chad in?
I am.
Jen,
Okay.
you know how. Jen, you know how to do the test
So-
on that, don't you?
Love you all.
Oh, you don't go
Hi,
yet,
Sammy.
Sammy. If you want to hop back in, Chad, I can. I will do that, but it depends. Chad also did say he didn't want to spend too long in, so I might just swap you around if that's the
My
case.
science
Sure.
Sammy
credentials.
backstage
No
while
worries.
Chad's out here.
Yeah. Put
Because I
you
hardly get to
backstage
see
while
Sammy
Chad's
on camera. He's been
in.
on
So
camera
Chad
all
wants to
day
hop
this morning.
back in. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to hop back in and add the context in, Chad, I'm more than happy with that because I love having your input. So that's cool.
My science
We'll
credentials are
chat.
that when I told the physics teacher in high school that I'm not taking physics, he just shook his head and said, "Very good decision, very very good." So.
Okay. Yeah. Dave answered Nikki's question, which was, oh, my volume is low. Is it? Joyous. I
Which I
probably
think
because I'm
you've
too far away
actually
from my
answered
microphone.
before.
I'll just get closer. Get nice and close
No,
and
must be
intimate.
Must be something to do with this stream because we hear you fine here. But
Yeah. No, it's probably something to do with OBS being a bitch because it does this to me occasionally.
Just get close to it and like you're sniffing it like a bicycle seat.
Sniffing it like a bug. I don't do that. That's you, Jed. Nikki asked a question about quantum entanglement. What would it take to have a reliable, faster than light communication with quantum entanglement? Dave answered it saying that will never allow for faster than light communication. As far as we know, it could not allow for faster than light communication. The problem you have with quantum entanglement is you would actually have to know what the person at the other end was trying to do before you could see what was happening at the other end. So you need a context for the changes that somebody made to one end of a quantum entangled pair before you could actually tell what they meant by it at the other end. So if you change the spin of a quantum entangled item and they pick it up at the other end, what does it actually mean? So you need a context, and that context at the moment we can only send at the speed of light. So whilst they're great for encryptions because you can use systems where you send the encoding information slower than speed of light, but then use the quantum entanglement as like an encoding bit that lets you know how that data is being sent, which of course nobody can interfere with because it's only the two entangled bits that can send data to each other. Basically,
I got a
you
question.
cannot use a quantum entangled pair to directly send data unless, of course, you basically have a carrier that's traveling below the speed of light.
I want to answer Dog's question, but Jenny can go ahead and ask your question.
Well, given the nature of quantum entanglement, how would you know which action was taken first?
You'd be hard pushed to. That's why you need some sort of carrier or other piece of information that's telling you what's happening. So you basically, if you can have a signal that's traveling slower than the speed of light, that's giving context to the signal that you're trying to send with the quantum entangled pair, you can send a signal. Otherwise, you've got no way of knowing what exactly is trying to be sent.
And doesn't that pretty much end the discussion about whether we have free choice or not?
No.
Really?
Yeah. What's quantum entanglement got to do with whether or not we have free choice?
Well, because we don't know if I initiated the action or if
No, that's got
Other
nothing
bit-
to do with the quantum entanglement, though.
yeah, but if it's instantaneous and you don't know which end initiated it, how do you explain that free will exists?
I don't get why
Sorry,
how
I'm-
you're thinking those two things are possibly joined together. But yeah, quantum entanglement's complicated.
I think for Jenny's idea to work, would there have to be like an equal and opposite Jenny somewhere else?
You mean one who's smart and doesn't talk dirty?
Mhm.
Oh no, you wanted to answer Dog's question, didn't you, Brain Bug? So
Yeah, go on, Brainbug.
What's that?
You had a question you wanted to answer.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
dog's question. You want to
I
read it?
think-
Or
which animal? See, I could probably give what I think the answer is, and then Brain Bug will tell me why I'm fucking wrong. So, but it's where was it again?
Which
It's
animal
an
doesn't
animal
belong to the odd-toed ungulates? Ungulates?
yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I think it's a rhinoceros, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Oh, rhinoceros. So it doesn't belong to the what was it? The odd-toed ungulates. So then you're talking about even-toed ungulates. Rhinoceroses are actually are a odd-toed
They
ungulate.
are.
Rhinoceroses, of course, is mainly what you're going to think of when you're thinking of the odd-toed. But the even-toed is your cattle, your pigs, your barnyard animals, basically, except for the horses, which are odd-toed. And surprisingly, citizens, which whales. Yeah, that's your even-toed.
I said I'd get it wrong.
You have another question, Brainbug, from Granny. Why do army ants move their nests?
Well, when it comes to ants, they're essentially wasp. They're just wingless wasp. Bees are herbivorous wasp. They're just different lifestyles, and some of these groups, some groups of wasp are closer related to groups of ants than they are to other groups of wasp that we commonly would call a wasp. So that's why using common names when it comes to insects and stuff, it gets really murky. You get a lot of names that overlap. Things like velvet ant, where they're called an ant, but they're actually a wasp and not close related to other ants. But getting on a tangent here. So in a lot of species of ants, the males have wings. So when that keeps the essentially from inbreeding too much and stuff, so the males can go off and fly off and fertilize other nests, other nests than the ones that they were born in. So with a colony that's constantly on the move, like army ants, I think it was evolutionary beneficial for the males to be able to find the chains of females, because essentially that's what they live. They live in big chains or clusters, and they kind of set up shop wherever they want and fan out and kill everything in sight and bring it back and eat it and then move on. It's a fascinating lifestyle, but like any other specialized group of animals, it's just a unique line that they took because that niche needed to be filled.
Cool. Jenny?
Yeah.
Hey, you're falling asleep, hon?
No, I'm just keeping my eyes closed and thinking what he's saying, because it helps me concentrate when I'm this sleepy.
Yeah. My science needs to sleep. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
No, it's not you. I got up at way too early this morning.
Yeah,
If
to be
you need
fair,
to go and have
they
a
got-
sleep, go for it, Jen. We
To
understand.
be fair, They got up very early to do Dave's show,
Yeah.
and Dave's complaining about having to do it at 11:30 in the morning.
Oh.
So Dave,
So me and Ginny got up at 5:30
Yeah.
this morning,
Yeah.
and I don't know about her, but you could tell
Yeah.
by looking at me, I was like, my face is all
Yeah.
puffy, and yeah.
All right. So Dog asked, "How deep is the root system of a giant sequoia?" I don't know. I don't know about giant sequoias. Wow. Okay, we might have a stumping that nobody knows.
They're amazingly shallow. They're I think they're classed as a conifer, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
They
they're
would be.
top couple of layer of soils, but a wide-reaching root system. They don't go down
Yeah,
with big
yeah.
tap roots. Okay.
Exactly. Although, let's see now, is it the sequoia or the redwood, or is there really a difference between them? They will actually propagate at the end of their branches.
Ah.
so I imagine the roots go down to about 12 feet. I'd imagine. I think they go quite a way in.
I would think that they'd go down something like that deep.
Yeah.
You know,
But not the
12
super
feet
deep that you get
sequoia?
with the trees that have the big tap roots. So.
if you had a maple tree that size, it would go down significantly deeper, or an elm tree or something like that. But
So, Sammy, are you going to actually just ask Brainbug your question instead of typing it?
I didn't know if the panel were allowed to ask.
Yes, of course
so
they can.
I just need. You made me think of. I grew up just always thinking that this was a thing, but now I'm questioning whether it's true that ants will move nest when a storm's coming, so they can detect the pressure in the atmosphere or something and things like
Yeah, well,
that.
I mean, it would depend on where the nest was, but if their nest was in a lowland area and they thought that the rain was coming, they detected that they can move. But they'll move for lots of reasons. Ants will move their nest if you like set your chair up next to where they are and your shadow is moving over top of them too much. They'll be like, this is not a safe place. We need to get out of here because the shadow is passing over. So they have lots of reasons. They'll move their whole colony. And they can do it very quickly, especially more like she was talking about army ants and stuff. They move their nest just on a regular basis. And
Dog says we're stumped.
We are? What was that for? Was that the tree one?
the sequoia
so, yeah,
question,
yeah.
I don't know. I would say 12 feet seems awful shallow for a sequoia. I would guess they'd at least need to go down. Even saying it's a shallow root tree, I would speculate that they'd go down at least in the 30 feet range to be able to support that. My question is how wide they would be, how thick those roots would be. I have seen pictures of them getting chopped down and they're kind of having the root ball on there, but the root ball is just what's right there underneath the base of the stump. There's most trees have whole networks of smaller roots that can go out hundreds of feet, even like on an oak tree or something. The roots go out. I'm using feet because I'm an idiot American, but dozens of meters, we'll say, spread out in order to absorb moisture. There's a whole network of underground communication between trees. Some trees live in clonal colonies, and they all communicate with each other and can share nutrients. Like if these trees on this end of the forest are missing this nutrient, they can actually, through the root systems of these other trees that are absorbing it, like say from the hillside or something, and they're down in the sandier area towards the bottoms, they can actually feed the nutrients through the root systems into those other trees. The biggest organisms that are known to science are plants that do that, and the only thing that does it better than plants are fungus. And if you look at the soil anywhere, I don't know if you ever turn up soil like when you're digging in your garden or anything like that, and you see the white dusty looking stuff all over the clumps of dirt. That's all networks of communication that the funguses do, and plants do it too, but just not to the same degree. What you see like out of a mushroom is just the fruit, basically. Everything else lives under the ground and feeds on the nutrients from the soil.
I always
Hi,
thought
Sam in the
that
back. I know Sam's in the chat too, and Sam's stuck in the back as well.
Is that Sam Chaos?
Yeah, Sam Chaos is there.
I'll just say this, and then I can drop. I always thought that trees. It was a general rule that the roots were basically a mirror of the canopy.
I was raised with that
Don't.
information as well, but I think that refers to just the deciduous trees. I've never seen a diagram of that was of a coniferous.
Carnivorous tree.
Coniferous.
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 I was going to say.
Evergreen.
Yeah.
Christmas trees.
Christmas trees.
Coniferous, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
a sh-
hedges and stuff too. Yeah, lots of plants that are coniferous.
And where does the Venus flytrap call home natively?
So
A pot.
Venus flytraps are native to a valley in like North Carolina.
Is it
A
really?
Yeah,
very, very small area on the whole
It
planet.
is.
it's so
I knew
tiny.
it was a
And-
small area, but I wasn't sure exactly where it was.
And there's a old meteor crater in that area. People are like, oh, that means they're aliens.
Well, it could well be Venus flytrap. It's not the Mars flytrap.
All right, I'll drop for my namesake.
Aw. Bye, Sammy.
Sammy,
That's right. No, all right. Here you go.
Bye. And hi, other Sam.
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Thank you to Sammy if they are still listening.
Yeah.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Good morning, Amy.
All right, we have
Good
another
afternoon.
question. Which reptile subgroup is considered extinct? And this answer is sitting in the back of my head, and I will not come forward.
Which,
I could answer this.
Thank you.
Most of them.
Most
Yeah.
of them, yeah.
We only have two representatives of three groups, depending on where you decide to put turtles at. But we have lepetosaurs and archosaurs, which are crocodiles, and birds.
Yeah.
Birds are reptiles too. So
Synapsids are
lepetosaurs and
extinct, aren't they?
archosaurs are all we have left. Some people will put in turtles in a subgroup of lepetosaurs. I don't agree with that. I think they're different enough to be classified in their own group. So that would be three groups if we count turtles as separate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So aren't synapsids one of the extinct ones?
What's that?
Synapsids.
I think it's synapsid. Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. I know this information's in my head somewhere.
We are synapsids.
Yeah.
So there's two major groups of terrestrial tetrapods, the synapsid and the diapsids. Mammals are the only surviving group of synapsids. Everything else is terrestrial. Vertebrate is a diapsid. So reptiles are diapsids, birds are diapsids. That covers everything.
What does diapsid mean?
Okay.
What's the
So synapse means we have one extra hole in our head, and diapsid means they have two. If you look at like a dinosaur skull or any kind of diapsid skull, they're going to see a hole here. Ours is actually fused. Humans, we have the same hole. It's just fused. It's right there at your temple.
Yeah.
Most mammals, it's actually opened up though. But diapsids have one here, and then would be.
Is that like the hole that elephants have, and then they leak out of it when they're in rut and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's glands and stuff, and you have glands in yours too that secrete pheromones and stuff. But you have glands all over your body that secrete pheromones that you don't even think about.
My glands are my business, Buster.
I've got one. I think there's one in here for that. Definitely Jen might be the one to answer this. So this is: if Florida man runs out of meth and has to choose between bath salts, crack, or K2, which will he smoke?
It's Florida man. He'll probably smoke the bath salts.
All of them at once.
Yeah, probably.
They've got
He just get them in a big vat, a big bucket with a stick, and he's stirring them up and shove them in his pipe.
And there's a bit of a philosophical question there as well, and it's if Donald Trump falls in the forest and no one's around to hear him, is it still funny?
Yes.
I think that's your
Almost
answer.
certainly.
I think there's your answer there.
Can you have him get poison ivy too when he falls?
Fall in the poison ivy.
Yes.
Oh, would you love to see him
Face
get
first.
naked?
Sinese asked if Donald Trump falls in the forest and no one is around to hear him, is it still funny? Very, very funny.
So yeah, it's a bit more philosophical question, but yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, I feel like we could just
I think
about
Jenny's
argue that it
reaction
is
said
still
it.
funny.
Yeah, I think Jenny's reaction said it all.
And what noise would it make? Would it be like a thump or be more of a plop?
It'd be a
Instead
Trump.
instead of it being timber, it'd be mega boom.
Plop.
Wouldn't it go?
With a bit of a switch noise at the end.
Doesn't he look like somebody's already been at him with the axe because he's already got that lean?
Yeah, that's nice. A number of X for that.
Alright, I actually said there was a couple of things I was going to bring up. One of them was a thing about a particular black hole in a galaxy that's 570 million light years away. This black hole has been flaring now for every 114 days, and it's been like this for a few years, and it's taken scientists a while to actually figure out what it was. And what they think it is there's a large star, a very large star that's orbiting this black hole, and every 114 days it gets just close enough that the black hole drags off a big chunk of the outer atmosphere of the star, and that causes it to flare up and get brighter, and then the star moves back out and goes in the long part of its orbit, because as most stars orbiting black holes have really elongated orbits, so they come in close on one end and then far away at the other. So every 114 days this star swings in close enough to the black hole that it's dragging off the outer layers of the star's atmosphere, and that causes the black hole to get exponentially brighter, and then as the star moves away, of course all that gets either taken into the black hole or ejected when it flares. And yeah, then you've got to wait another 114 days for the star to orbit back around and have another layer pulled off it. This will end eventually, because either the star's going to, its orbit will decay enough that it'll actually fall into the black hole, and then you'll get one really big flare, or it might stay in orbit but have enough of its atmosphere dragged off it that it's that the black hole's no longer going to be pulling atmosphere off it. The gravity of the star is enough that it can hang on to its atmosphere at that point.
I got a question about that. So if that's our main way of detecting black holes, is what I'm understanding, right? That we follow, we look at how the light reacts to them, and that's how we know that they're there, how the light from the stars. So, and you were saying that it peels it off. Once it consumes the whole star, is the black hole still there? I mean, or does it start to?
Yeah, no, the black hole stays there. I mean, a black hole is just a gravity well. So
there's no. But that means that there's just black holes they don't have a star near them that we can see
wouldn't be able to tell they were there. Yeah,
just...
I mean, we know a black hole's there from its gravity. So basically, the way the objects orbit, the objects that we can see that orbit around it, we can tell that a black hole is there. If we're lucky and the black hole is active, so it's got an astrophysical jet, we can see the astrophysical jet because that's actually quite bright. Astrophysical jet is because black holes have magnetic fields just like stars do. Rotating black holes, of course, have rotating magnetic fields. So when a star comes into the accretion disk, which is an area before the event horizon, but an area where the tidal forces rip the star apart or the gas apart, it gets accelerated and moves very fast around it. And the magnetic fields that are around there can direct some of those particles up to the poles of the black hole, and they get ejected.
I didn't even know black holes had poles.
Yes,
I'm learning so much.
Black holes can have magnetic fields too.
Couldn't we eliminate the danger of black holes by filling them in?
Well, that's an interesting thing, because black holes also evaporate.
Can you patch over them with some dark matter? Just spack them there?
as black holes consume more matter, or there's more matter within them, they will evaporate over time. They will get larger as they fill up. But what happens is you have virtual particles that create around
Jen?
the outside.
I have to leave. My battery's about to die.
Oh, okay.
So somebody come on in and replace me. Somebody with
Someone
brains
could come
this
in
time.
and replace Jan.
No one can replace
We love
Jenny.
you, Jan. Thank you for being.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, home.
So yeah, if somebody wants to hop in and replace Jenny,
And
not that
also,
she's
we need a
replaceable.
question for Sam Chaos. So if
Yep.
if anybody's got a question for Sam Chaos that just popped in,
Yeah. So
See if you can
where did
speak
we get
up.
to with this? Had I answered your whole question? Brain.
yeah, you answered
Yeah, I
my
did
part of the
answer.
question.
I did finish
know
that.
you got
Okay, yeah. If anyone had any other questions about black holes, please feel free. I am no expert, but I know a bit.
I learned stuff. I didn't even got the pole thing. I didn't know that about black holes. That's freaking amazing. So yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
black
I mean-
holes are fun and weird.
Sam, you're a little muffled.
Weird. Give me a minute to try and mess with my audio.
Yeah.
You sound
As
much
Chad
better now.
Hall says, everything spins and spinning things have poles. Having said that, they do think there are black holes that don't spin, and that's quite possible. And those black holes would, of course, not have magnetic poles. But
Well, either that or if their spin is negligible.
yeah, or black
Depending
holes
on
that
the
have a
moment.
negligible spin. Yeah, if they have a negligible spin, they're probably not likely to have much of a magnetic field. But any fast rotating black hole will have a magnetic field. Even a fast rotating accretion disk from a black hole, because you've got plasma rotating, that will create an electrical current, which will of course cause a magnetic field. So even the accretion disk itself will generate a magnetic field.
Yep.
So no, but you're right. You cannot see a black hole. You can see the accretion disk, and you can see the objects that orbit the black hole. And just because, black holes function the same way as stars in a sense. They're just lots of gravity. So the idea that you've got a black hole and it's sitting there and it's just sucking things in isn't how that works. Black holes bend space time exactly the same way as a star does or a planet does. So you can have things that, as long as they don't get too close, get to the point where they get torn apart by tidal forces and then get pulled onto the event horizon. You can have things that are in stable orbits around black hole and could orbit a black hole for almost as long as the universe is around. In theory.
Nice.
So it is, yeah. Yeah, you can
There's a
have stable
question we
orbits
can-
around black holes. You could even have stars that orbit black holes that had their own planets. I don't know that it'd be the best place in the universe to be. There'd be an awful lot of radiation there, but you could have it.
Yeah.
Okay, Sammy wanted to know if there's a black hole at the center of every galaxy. No, there is not. We have seen galaxies that do not have black holes in the center of them. We don't know if, and it's something that's actively being studied at the moment, do galaxies form around black holes? So does the black hole, because of how much mass it has, cause stars to congregate around it and everything? Or are black holes a consequence of galaxies? So because you have galaxies that form and then you have stars and then the stars die eventually and become black holes and those black holes migrate towards the center of the galaxy, is that why we have supermassive black holes? Or are some of these supermassive black holes primordial and they caused galaxies to start forming? We don't know. We don't know the answer to that. But no, not all galaxies have supermassive black holes. Some lose them. Some may never have had them. We don't know. But definitely some do not. Did I miss any other questions? Yeah, I'm not going to ask the woodchuck
think so.
question.
Yeah, I've been awake for about 45 minutes, I think. So the fact that I'm answering questions at all is semi-impressive.
Alright. If somebody had a question earlier in the chat, please repeat because, yeah, I haven't noticed it, so. Welcome back,
There's
Joe.
something about cabbage is up here.
Cabbages?
What's that?
There was a
where'd it
question
go?
about cabbages.
Cabbage.
I just saw it a second ago.
If you can find it, yep.
Back when they were talking about plant biology, when they were talking about,
Oh, okay. No, I didn't see it, so...
yeah, I'm trying to pull it up. Just a sec.
Cabbages. Who asked it?
Oh, there it is. Dog asked it. He said, he or she, I don't know if dog's a...
It's a he.
Hey.
He. Okay. Which plants belong to the cabbage family?
Oh, that's what begins with B, doesn't it? Brassica or something like that.
Yeah, the one that's they're all the same species, and it's got all these different groups.
I'm sure that's the one you're
Brussels
thinking of.
sprouts and cabbages. They call it wild mustard, I guess.
Yeah, it's odd that the cabbage is kind of like related to some plants that don't really look like it at all.
Yeah,
well,
cabbage is like the dog of the plant world. There's so many, or brassica.
Yeah, you can go. I'm sure it must have been probably it's about a year now. You can go to there's a video of Kent Hovind saying why broccoli proves evolution, not realizing he's just made the same dumb argument that Ray Comfort made about the banana.
Banana, yeah.
Because of the man-made cultivars, yeah. When we mess with the genes, what we're doing is proving how malleable that genetic information is, and how you can steer a life form to turn into. They want to see a different kind, change it into a different kind. You're going to say that that kohlrabi is the same kind as a Brussels sprout?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's our whole argument of dogs don't become cats. And it's like, no, they don't, because nothing evolves out of its genus at all. You are what you were historically.
Okay, so
they use the words kind interjectually though with whether it be different taxonomic groups or a species or whatever. They got no, that's what the creationists do that.
All right, let me lay something down here just real quick that creationists think that we should that shouldn't be, that's actually part of evolution. It's called the law of monophily.
Yeah.
The law of monophily means that it's like what Jim was just saying, you never outgrow your ancestry. You never become what your ancestors weren't. You'll never not be what they were. That's why
you don't outgrow your
that's why we are still eukaryotes.
That's why we're apes. That's why we're still monkeys. People want to say, apes aren't monkeys, and we're not monkeys. Yes, we are.
Why do we still have monkeys? Because we're still here.
Yeah, we're catarrhines. We are primates. So, and that we're in that group. We're the same kind as a lemur, and then we're placental mammals. So we're in that. We could even get a little more technical and divide it up into even more technical groups that we share. Oh, we're closer related to rodents than we are to bobcats.
We're synapses.
We're synapses, like we were just talking about before. Yeah. You never outgrow what your ancestors were. That's why that's called nested cladistics. That's the current model that we have in science, and the straw man version of it that the creationists are going to throw out is not built on what is actually understood.
And that's why a dog will never become a cat, or vice versa.
A dog could evolve into something that's cat-like.
Can
never be a cat.
Can an elephant mate with a pine tree? You just roll out all of Kent Hovind's greatest hits here. Yeah, you all came from rocks. That's another.
I almost bought a T-shirt with the elephant and the pine tree on it.
We all come from stardust.
The pine tree, and they had the heart above it.
Yeah.
We all come from stardust.
That's the cool thing too. Is like every molecule in your body has been part of another organism before. Isn't that crazy to think about? Probably multiple organisms.
I think that. I mean, there's so few of them. I mean, we think about our Earth as being this huge. Flat Earthers don't, but we think of the Earth as being this huge, enormous resource of stuff. But we live on this little tiny, tiny slither of that. The actual mass of the Earth that makes up the things that become us and become the plants and everything around us is tiny compared to the actual entire mass of the planet. So
And we're all recycled.
we have
We're
to
all
be recycled.
recycled. It's the same. It's the same elements cycled through over elements, energies, chemicals, all that's just cycling through. We've all been.
Because
So
there's not many
which
other
continent
options.
scientists have found particles of a rare isotope of iron? Yeah, you're probably talking about a recent news article, and I probably haven't read it, Sammy. But yeah, they would have been found just about on every continent. But probably, I'm thinking Antarctica, and I'm thinking probably in a meteorite.
If I was to hazard a guess, that'd be probably where I'd go. But I was just going to answer Harmonica's man's question, because he said, "What is the speed of stupid?" And he says, "Oh yeah, creationism." Yeah. I'll just say this, and I'm sure Barman, may back me up on this. You think they're stupid. You need to experience some flat earthers.
Oh, flat earthers is a joke. They really are. Though I do wonder how many flat earthers are really stupid or really clever because they get so much money from their supporters in bitcoins and stuff like that.
Well, some of them I've said plenty of times. Oakley doesn't believe it. This shit that he says. I don't think Mark Sargent believes it. I think Riley. I think Riley. I'm on the fence about. I think he's probably might have started out as a Poe, but has convinced himself of his own bullshit. I think
that wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, I don't know that one, Sammy. Which country has developed the world's first floating nuclear plant? I don't know.
No idea.
No, that's one I don't know. And I'm guessing he's going through news articles at the moment.
I'm guessing if nobody else knows this, that's a stumping.
That's definitely a stumping, I think, because
Russia would be.
it's a Russian one.
Jen, you need a little
I do. I need a little sound effect for when we get stumped.
You need like a little graphic of a cricket stumps or something getting bowled over.
Yeah, actually, that's a really the old duck ones. You know where they had the old animated duck that got out and walked off.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find that animation because it's not used anymore. I'll see if I can find it and we'll use it. So when we get stumped, it'll be.
Out for a duck.
Out for a duck. We'll make it an out for a duck, and we'll have the animation go across the screen. But I won't do that now. I'll do that for a future one. Well done, Sammy. According to the researchers, the first ever stable ring of pure carbon consists of how many atoms? Oh, God, I do know this, but I can't. Yeah, I think it's about that, Sam. I think you're right.
This was a thing that my one of my friends who does chemistry was talking to me about.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's given
you were right. Well done, Sam.
Options, by the way.
Sam beats Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really working hard to get those stumps. You know, I'm gonna have to set up a bot for this so that people can have running tallies for when they've managed to stump the panel, or stump me.
Yeah. Maybe we need a scoreboard.
A scoreboard, yeah.
Hold on, let me see. Let me have a little look. I think I know what we need.
Okay, so Dog's asking us what genetic disease is caused by the dysfunction of the 13th chromosome. Now, this is biology, and I usually suck at these. So... help.
Jen, if you see that's a lot. Just see those emojis put in the chat whenever we get stumped.
So, I have the word try in my head as part of it, but that's something that I'm really not sure on because I'm bad at biology.
Yeah, it's not my thing. We need Brian, but Brian probably doesn't know this one. We need Mero.
Well,
you do know Brian?
Mero.
Need somebody with more genetics
with biology.
knowledge.
We need scientist Mel, or we need Mero for this one. It's
I think that.
it's way out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, my wheelhouse is more ecology and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of phylogeny, but genetics, no. So you got
No.
me there.
I mean, I know some genetics, but not enough to answer a question like, what's that disease? What's this disease?
No, I know tiny bits about genetics from high school and a friend having it as a special interest, and that's about it.
So you get a stump for that dog. We have no idea. None of us have a clue.
I will say you've got to tell us the answer though.
Yeah, you've got to tell us the answer.
I
though.
wanna
You
know.
can't leave these fools in suspense.
That way we
me
can all.
included.
The whole idea of this that we all try and walk away with a little bit more knowledge. I think so.
I already have. I don't know
So-
about you guys, but the stuff about the black holes was all new stuff for me. So
That was cool.
Yeah, like I said, I am like on science. I am awful. That's not my anything scientific. It's not my wheelhouse at all. But
You realize going along with black holes further, you realize you can actually theoretically you can use a black hole as a large source of power. What you have is a plasma, a very, very, very large plasma cannon that injects plasma into the accretion disk of the black hole at just the right velocity and at the right angle. And what ends up happening in that case is the movement of that in relation to the movement of the black hole actually causes negative energy to fall into the black hole, and when that happens, you get positive energy back from the black hole itself. In theory, I mean, we couldn't test this. We'd need a black hole, and we'd need an enormous plasma injector and an enormous amount of matter to inject into the black hole. But in theory, we could use a black hole to directly generate energy for us. Effectively as well as particle annihilation with antimatter.
I have a question I have a question for another member of the panel here because I think this may be his wheelhouse. Barman, how long does it take to pour the perfect pint of Guinness?
Oh, we don't serve Guinness because so few people drink it because it's weird.
Oh, no.
But I'd
Oh,
say
no,
at
I'm gonna come to your pub as well.
least you got to look at a minimum of probably a minute to 90 seconds to even be getting close to the right time.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you the one they give. They give it as 119.5 seconds is what they get. It's just 2 minutes, pretty much, I suppose. But
what are you drinking there, Jeff?
Oh, that makes
Heineken.
Of course, it's
Heineken.
Turner syndrome. You know, the worst part about that is I actually knew that. The answer to Dog's question is Turner syndrome, and I actually knew that. So, the trivia we know in the back of our brains, and we just can't bring them out when we need it.
Well, I thought maybe you would know it because I know that you dabbled in genetics because you got your own
I
unique
do, but
genetic
that's
stuff going
because
on.
I'm a chimera, so I have
Yeah.
I have dual. I have both XX and XY chromosomes. That's the version of chimerism I have. So I have mixed genetics across my body. Actually, we discussed this in Dave's stream. So yes, I'm very interested in that, but there's so many different genetic diseases,
Right.
or conditions that there's no way I'm going to know all of them. But yes, I did know Turner syndrome.
I don't even know,
Chromosome,
like
but-
with human genetic disorders, I don't even know what the chromosome order is for, like Down syndrome, for like one of the most common ones. I don't even know.
I couldn't tell you Down syndrome off the top of my head either.
Yeah.
But
Someone's going to have to like. By the way, someone at some point in the chat is going to have to like throw in a history one in there. Give me half a chance.
give Jeff a history question.
I'm still
so,
saying I'll answer it correctly, but
Which of the
Remember
following
Tommy
is an
Jenkins?
airborne disease? A. Measles.
Yeah.
B. Typhoid. C. Pink eye. D. None of the
B,
above.
none of the above. I
that'll be
I'd say
I
D,
think
'cause,
it's D because I'm pretty sure typhoid is contact as well. I know
I
measles and
forget-
pink eye are.
Measles
So,
and pink eye are contact.
Measles is contact, but can also be liquid droplets, and typhoid is liquid droplets of fecal matter. I think. Pink eye is a symptom, is it not? So I think it would be D.
D. None of the above. Yep.
I would be inclined to go to D, that it's not airborne. That would be where I'd be inclined to go.
Measles is airborne. Okay.
Measles is only airborne insofar as COVID is airborne.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was just with the
um,
droplets, and COVID's not counted as an airborne disease. So I'd be careful with that one, Sammy.
I think sometimes because I think because they think of the way it can be spread through coughs and diseases that means airborne. I don't think that's what airborne means. So
yeah. Yeah, so okay, they're defining their airborne disease as being water droplets within the air as well. Under that definition.
Okay, so yeah, under that
COVID would be considered airborne, and yet it is not. So, it depends on whose definition of airborne you use.
Yeah.
That's another one that would have been good to have Marrow here for.
It would depend. If the measles virus can survive without being in the substrate of being in a water molecule or whatever other molecule it's in the air, then yes, I would still say it would count as airborne, because some of those diseases can survive when they're not even in something. So even after you've sneezed it or coughed it out, and the water vapor is evaporated or whatever else, the bug can still survive. So in that case, it is still technically airborne. It can move on the wind and, depending on how long length of time it survived, whereas something like COVID doesn't survive outside of that. So the distance as far as airborne goes for COVID is limited, whereas it might be the case that measles, because it doesn't die outside of it, is considered it. But yeah, I thought it was droplet based as well for measles. But yeah, interesting question, Sammy.
Yeah.
Half a stump. Yeah, I'll give you half a stump for that.
You
got me leg before that time.
LBW.
LBW. I'll have to come up with a whole heap of little cricket animations now for this.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta be done.
Yeah. Like one that just gets me. I think we'll just do it as a stumping. But if it gets all of us, I think I'll have a completely bold.
If someone gets the answer just like that as well, then
we'll give it. Six.
Like a little six. We should be holding up. We should just have little cards there and hold up sixes.
Six. So yeah, well, I'll have some fun.
There's a question for Jeff in the chat, though. Who was the last king to lead his troops into battle personally?
Okay. Now, I don't know if this is including all monarchs ever in worlds. As far as British monarchs, George II.
Did he? See, I would have thought, I would have gone like Henry VII or someone like that.
Yeah, in the Battle of, I think it's called Dettingen, 1743. Was the last time we had a British monarch lead. The last battle to actually be fought on British soil was 1746, which is Culloden, which is actually a very eerie place if you ever go there. It's a bit. Yeah, I'm not a believer in ghosts or anything, but that place is eerie.
There's a couple of questions for you now, Jeff, after we asked for them. Because there's also who won the war that would go on to be called the American Revolution?
Who won the war that won? But okay, well that would be the United States of America, really. Unless there's a trick in there somewhere that I'm not seeing, but
I mean, the the United States was only formed after the war was finished, so I don't know if that's a bit of a trick in the faction name and that it's going to be whatever they were called before that, the American Revolutionaries or whatever. But other than that, I feel like no, that doesn't make sense.
I'll accept
To
the colonies.
anything else.
Yeah. It was my question, so I'll accept the colonies.
Yeah. Alright, what else? For Jeff,
French, maybe. They were there.
what was the 7-foot pylon in the Roman arsenal of weapons?
I don't remember the actual name for it. I think it was. I mean, the pylon was basically a javelin. So, you know, for those who don't know what the pylon is, it was a javelin that that you know but Roman soldiers. It was had a weird thing because the end of it was sort of designed that it would slightly bend or buckle or something. So it was the idea was once you threw it, the enemy couldn't pick it back up and throw it back at you. So it would bend a bit, and of course if it hit like a wooden shield or something, it pretty much you couldn't fight with a blooming like 7-foot javelin sticking in your shield.
Mm-hmm.
Your shield. So it meant a lot of people threw their shields away. But
so apparently, Richard Lionheart was apparently the claim, according to Harmonica Man.
And that's wrong.
Yeah,
I'm going to say there's got to be, because even
Richard III
died in battle. So
that was hundreds of years after. Unless there's a sort of specific thing to that. This is a specific thing to that question, and maybe died abroad or something like that. I don't know. But,
so Sandy's got me with do I know what an OC7 A-bend is? And yeah, if you're talking about old computer hex dumps, it depend entirely on the system you were talking about, because different hex dumps for different CPUs mean different things, because different CPUs use different codes for doing different things. So yeah, it could mean any one of a number of things. It could be it could be a piece of text within a code, or it could be an actual operand within the assembly of that processor. So it would, context required.
With that, I'd have to take just a guess, even if there was sufficient context.
It's a hard one without the context. Yeah, so it was text in something. Yeah. Well, I see as a carriage return, isn't it? So I don't know what would come after that. 0C would be a carriage return. So 0C, 0C7. I know I was saying O and I should be saying 0. Yeah. It's been way too long. I would see in the 80s. I was in primary school, so I was learning on 6502s and stuff like that. And my later programming was later on with IBM level stuff. So yeah, my experience for that is not enough, Sandy, to actually answer the question in the context that you mean it. So what's Sammy's question? What Greek mathematician held off the Romans during the siege of Syracuse in 212 BC?
Archimedes.
Yep, Archimedes.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even brain bag. How do you pronounce that?
Malleus Maleficarum.
Oh, it's Heinrich Kramer who wrote that, wasn't it?
Yep.
Jeff knows his history. You're having a good one tonight, Jeff.
Some of them I'm having a good one on, but I guarantee someone will catch me out.
You know the translation of that?
I have
The
no
Latin-
idea.
Latin. I think it's Hammer of the Witch.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. See, Noodle's the one for Latin translations. I rely on her for that for my streams.
Yeah, I think that. I'm pretty sure that's Latin. It looks.
And,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you
I'll
can
tell
have a
you now
stump for that, Sandy. I don't know
Yeah.
because my computer knowledge wasn't back for that. I did program in COBOL, and I'm aware that those codes were used, but I didn't do a lot of COBOL programming. Most of my stuff was C or Pascal or.
Was
I did a bit of-
Pythagoras before
And
Archimedes?
a bit of fourth as well, unbelievably. Fourth reverse Polish notation hurts your brain.
Sorry, what was Brian asking? Sorry.
I said, was Pythagoras before Archimedes?
Oh, yeah, easy. Because I think Pythagoras is pre-Socratic.
Yes.
If I'm correct. Archimedes
Yes.
died in the first Punic War, so that was between Rome and Carthage. The siege of Syracuse was the first Punic War.
Yeah, I'm assuming Sandy that the problem with the OC7 codes was you were forcing a character return into the code somewhere into the data or the code somewhere where it shouldn't have been. But I've never experienced it, so no idea. I learnt COBOL with the aim that we'd be able to fix systems because of the millennial bug, and but yeah, there just wasn't enough work for it, and most of the people who went in and did it were people who were already working on the system. So oh really? They didn't have edits on the data entry thing, so basically somebody entered something in the wrong spot and it screwed up the data because it looked like a carriage return. I love it.
Oh, cool. Sorry, just responding to something. I've got a guest for my stream with Noodle tomorrow, so.
Nice.
Oh, the shortest equation that describes the Mandelbrot set. Ah, it's been years since I've done Mandelbrots. Yeah, not off the top of my head. I'm not going to bring up a Mandelbrot equation. They are really short though.
Can I just very quickly, because I've got to step out for a smoke in a second, but
Yeah.
I just saw Sammy put up, I think, a question. I think it was to me. Gilles de Rais was a medieval serial killer.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's who that was.
Is that the one that's associated with Joan of Arc?
Hold on. I'm trying to think. It was around that sort of period, I think. Baron de Rais. Yeah, it was a companion of Joan of Arc. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and like he got all twisted when she got basically, she martyred is what ended up happening, but she got murdered.
Yeah.
And then, he went off the deep end and started.
It's very, very weird. People that get burnt at the stake ending up getting canonized later, but it's a bit rare. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
No worries, Jeff. So yeah, the Mandelbrot set is just an iteration of a quadratic equation within complex numbers. So I guess you could derive it from almost any simple quadratic equation that used complex numbers. It's been a long time since I've done Mandelbrot sets, so I wrote code for it on a Commodore 64 to draw one.
Nice.
It is really fun dealing with complex numbers with a system that doesn't know how to. Because, of course, you have to remove all the complex i's out of it to do the equations, and then you, iterate them back through. So, it's good fun. Do you know that one, Sam? Do you know the smallest equation for expressing a Mandelbrot set?
I do not. No.
You do not.
I feel like you possibly just explained what a Mandelbrot set is, but my brain's blanking on it. And I was reading a message from a friend who asked a question this morning.
Yeah.
I was poking him about English folk magic.
So I mean, you could have you could have like you could have x squared minus 4i brackets obviously times y squared minus i, and you know and use that to derive your Mandelbrot set. But I'm not sure exactly how the shortest one would work out. Well, no, you can't do the minus side because you cancel out the eyes. I'm an idiot. I just cancelled my eyes. I apologize for that. You kind of.
I just wanted to real quick say goodbye to everybody. I got to bounce, but it's been fun. Love answering questions with you,
No,
Jen. Sorry, Jeff was away when I left. To tell him I said bye.
I
Sam,
thanks,
Sarcastic Farman. Y'all have a good.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay. So yeah, I just realized when I did that quadratic equation out loud, I just cancelled out the eyes because if you have the two brackets and you're multiplying them out and you've got a plus I on one side and a minus I on the other side, the eyes cancel. It's how you get rid of them when you're simplifying fractions with complex numbers.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
Far too clever always for me.
I'm an absolute twit. Yeah, let's describe an iteration for generating a Mandelbrot set by destroying the complex number in the middle of the equation. Yeah, that doesn't work. Doug's having a good laugh at me for that one. Jen has a maths degree.
Far too clever for me. Give me more beer. I'll wake up. I only just woke up for the Dave stream.
I'm crazy.
I probably should still be asleep given the time I went to bed, but you know.
What time did you go to bed?
7:30 in the morning. I'm
what time
UK.
is it now? Oh, all right, fair enough.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
while we don't have any
can't believe
questions in the chat, I want to talk about Nanograv, which is a newish. It's been running for about 3 or 4 years now. A gravitational wave detector. Now, unlike LIGO, Nanograv uses pulsars. So what it does is it monitors about 30 known pulsars that have a very, very regular pulse. And by checking these pulses that are coming in from all over the universe, and we know how regular they are and everything, we can measure the shift in the universe caused by gravitational waves, but over a detector that is now multi-galaxy sized. So it enables us to see a lot smaller gravitational waves than the ones we get from having supermassive black holes or neutron stars collide. That this has the potential to let us detect orbiting black holes well before they actually collide and give out the bigger gravitational waves. We also is a possibility that we might be able to detect the background gravitational wave that was generated in the Big Bang. So
That's cool.
So it's really quite outstanding. They recently released a paper about data that's they've already processed over the last 3 years, it's going to take 10 to 15 years of analyzing data to actually get results out of it, because we're dealing with very, very, very small movements. So to pick up something that's consistently happening and being able to pinpoint it is going to take years of data to weed out everything, other things that can affect the experiment, whether it's equipment errors or changes in the Earth's orbit that we were not overly aware of at the time, and things like that. So we it's going to take a lot of collected data to get it down. But when they've already got some candidates from just doing 3 years for possible orbiting black holes, and they're hoping that as they eventually, if some of those pan out to be actual black holes that are getting closer to the point where they'll combine, LIGO and that will pick that up, and then of course they'll be able to confirm their results from one to the other. So it's an amazing concept where they're using pulsars to create a larger, multi-galaxy sized gravitational wave detector. But yeah,
that's actually quite awesome.
Yeah, it is incredibly amazing that we can do this sort of thing.
And yet you get people who still think you got to dip your nose down on your plane to fly.
Yeah. Okay, I will dog when Jeff gets back. What is the goal of the Surveyor program of NASA? Which one's Surveyor? Does anyone remember?
No, that doesn't sound thingy.
There's because it's a complete thing. It's a complete thing. Surveyor's got to do with getting better data for the cosmic background radiation, isn't it, Sammy? You're gonna have to tell me if I'm right or wrong, and then you can say I've been stumped or not. But I think.
Sorry, what are we? My internet cut out a minute. What we're doing?
What is the goal of the Surveyor program of NASA?
Surveyor program.
To demonstrate soft landings.
Was that
on
the one
moon.
who was doing moon landings?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
You're right. It is to do with moon landings. Yeah. Well done, Sam.
Good question.
It is a good question.
I only know because
and somebody knew it, so
follow...
you stumped me, Sammy, but you didn't stump Sam. So yeah, Sam got it.
Yeah.
I don't follow every single program that NASA do, only the ones that interest me. So if you start talking about particular programs, I'm probably not going to know them. What was that, Sam?
I only know because my dad likes to follow a lot of NASA stuff, and he talks to me about it sometimes.
Okay, cool. That is really cool. Well, we've got a question for Jeff when he gets back, so we might as well keep going at least until Jeff gets back. But then I might look at winding up because it seems to be.
Sorry, you said you had a question for me. I was just putting my headphones on when I heard that.
Okay, we do. Dog wants to know what was the largest contiguous empire in history.
I'd say the Mongol Empire.
Yeah. Because that was very big and all on land.
Of course, it's Z squared plus X. That's the smallest equation for the Mandelbrot set. Yes. Yeah.
Wait, did I get that right? Or not?
I think you did.
Or I squared.
Just waiting for...
Or I squared plus X. You're using Z. I always use I. So. Did you get it right, Jeff?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything in the chat yet. I'm just checking the chat.
We're just waiting for Dog to hear the answer.
Yeah, I'd just say if was I right or wrong.
It's good when we have smart people in the chat too, because it really challenges us.
Yeah. Dog's come out with some excellent ones today.
Dog has got a lot of points tonight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dog's bowling has been very good tonight.
Dog has been bowling well. We'll have to get Dog on the panel one week.
Yeah. Well, Dog's cool. I was actually say, Dog, by the way, thank you. He became one of my patrons a few days ago.
Good, what a good doggy.
It was actually funny today because we had Ed and Dog, so we had the GOD and the DOG in my chat. Yeah, if you remember.
Yep, I do.
The moon.
The moon isn't real. So we're still waiting on Dog to answer your history question.
We didn't go there. We didn't go there. It's all fake CGI.
Oh dear.
That's it. Actually, I kind of miss Jay's little thing with Bobby. Actually, I kind of miss that.
Apparently, they're going to do a few more of them. So.
Oh, awesome.
You were right, Jeff.
Good. It sounds like I got it right. Okay.
You've been rocking those history questions tonight. I think you got them all right, haven't you, Jeff?
I'm not sure did I get them all, if I got them all right or not.
You got one wrong. It was only one. So, all right. Well, I think we've more or less come to the end of this lot. I think we've kind of wound down a bit from what we were doing. We've lost a couple of guests, so I'm gonna thank everyone here who joined me. Thanks. Thank you, Jeff. You've done brilliantly tonight, Jeff. At least they've throwing questions for you, which has been good.
Yeah.
Sam, thank you for hopping in. Always a pleasure.
Yep. Good.
Barman, thank you for joining us. It's been brilliant.
I didn't say much.
No, it happens. We've got a big group. I want to say thank you to Sammy Jenkins as well, and to Jenny Morgan, and of course Brian Brainbug, because Brian answered his fair share of questions tonight, which was it was good to have that range of knowledge. It makes the questions. It means that normally we can answer most of the questions. What we needed was a Mero, when we probably could have got through them all.
Mero would have rocked it on the genetics questions.
Oh, she so would have.
I do remember actually. I was because when she was responding to some stupid tweet by Kevin Sorbo the other day.
Yeah.
And it was to do with and she said something about should we actually listen to a failed actor or a virologist when it comes to the pandemic, and he had some guy saying, "I bet you couldn't prove him wrong," blah blah blah, and I just his response was, "Trust me, I know Mero. She would own him. She would own Kevin Sorbo in science. Just trust me on this one, right?"
All right, you've got one last question for you, Jeff, that came up. What year was the Russian Red October Revolution?
You are kidding me. Oh, that's okay. Right, I've got a book here. History of the Russian Revolution. There's two revolutions in Russia in 1917, the February Revolution and the October Revolution. But I think technically the October Revolution was November because they were still on the old calendar. So, but Russian Revolution is definitely a period in history I have read quite a bit about.
What year was it, Jeff?
1917.
1917. Oh, well done. Thank you to everybody in the chat. You've all been amazing. Last things. What have you got coming up, Jeff?
Well, tomorrow I have got my regular thing I do with Noodle, the Asterix to Gaul, going through those books.
I need to update your intro. 2021.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, because you need to do a Noodle as well,
And
because she's
Noodle,
rebranded
yes,
from
I do.
Hissy.
I need to fix that.
She's rebranded from Hissy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we could definitely keep the same theme with the Dogmatics though, because I think that works so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got that. We're doing Asterix and the Magic Carpet tomorrow. Now, for those who've never watched my the streams we do, yes, we're going through old children's comic books. But if you've got a bit of an interest in like ancient like Roman history or whatever, we try and delve into that a little bit as well as having a bit of fun. And I've got a guest tomorrow. Hopswatch is going to be joining us.
Oh, brilliant!
So I'm looking forward to that. After that, I will I'm 90% certain I'm going to be in on One Ring's stream tomorrow. Media Musings, which I know you're normally a co-host on there, Jen.
I normally am, although I've missed quite a few lately. Last week,
yeah,
I know. I actually passed out. I was asleep.
Yeah. Well, last week Ring wanted to do the movie John Wick. This week we're doing the sequels to John Wick. So we're having a little bit of mindless action that month or so. Well, it's action. Well, it's not quite mine. It's action with a little. We've been doing some action films recently because we did a Die Hard at Christmas, so as well. But then on Tuesday, I believe it'll be 7 p.m. UK time. I'm having Slim Living Cyborg come onto the channel for a chat. So
nice.
Be looking forward to it. And actually, Barman is actually somewhat responsible for this. He may not know this, that I met Slim because we got double booked for an iNetwork stream one night where I think Tatty had booked me. We booked Slim. Barman had booked Slim. So Tatty said, "Do you just want to come on anyway, Jeff?" And I'm like, okay. And I just found Slim like really interesting he was just so interesting to talk to, and it's like, I want to get you. I was like, I want to get you on my channel. I really want to talk to you more. So, so that should be a lot.
It's
of
fun
fun
having on the poker and everything.
Yeah.
Cool. Sam, what have you got coming up?
What I got him on for?
In the next couple of weeks, I am going to be putting out a video about. Trying to explain what it's about is weird without giving away too much of the content of the video, but basically the way we have like complex ideas in our heads that we tend to simplify because we make assumptions, but then trying to explain it to other people can be more difficult. And I use the example of Christianity, how a lot of Christians will say the only thing you need to be a Christian is to believe Jesus died and rose again for your sins. And it's like, well, great, but there's a lot of assumptions packed in there that aren't necessarily visible on the surface.
Cool, that'll be awesome. Brilliant. And Barman, are you actually doing anything at the moment?
I am, yeah. I'm on Agree to Disagree tomorrow. We're debating the death penalty. Obviously got poker as well after that in the evening. Be on the shills tonight. And I'll probably get some videos done for the week. And I'm also on with Rider of Dinosaurs on the 19th, so that's Tuesday at 9 p.m. UK time. And I've got someone else I'm on with next month as well. So all these live things coming.
I will put everyone's links in the description later.
Can I actually make some suggestions actually for future shill guests to Barman? I think you need to get Sam on the channel at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think you need to get Chad on at some point.
I'll definitely have Chad on.
You really want someone who.
You need to have me back on again because last time you guys had me on, I got the show got removed by. I don't know what I said.
I actually no, it wasn't the shills. It was when I appeared as a guest on the Uncalled 4. It got taken down in England. So
yeah, the entire shills show that I was on got totally taken off, and they never got it back.
Oh no, definitely need some of you lot back on again because you're good people to have on. It makes it a good show.
I enjoy coming on there. I mean, sometimes I feel a bit out of my depth with so many of the other people on there who really know their shit with science, and I really don't. But
So
I
it's
suppose
all right.
I-
That's how I
you
felt on this
can-
show.
Yeah, I recognise.
You're probably
Well, I
lucky
suppose
Chad
if you-
didn't join us then.
But then when you're dealing with the likes of like Riley, Validation Boy, Daniel Pratt, whoever the fuck it may be,
Yeah.
it's not a challenge really.
No.
It's not-
No.
Yeah. So
No, definitely.
for me this week there'll be a Will and I will be doing our What the Fuck show next Thursday night for people in the US. It'll probably be a slightly earlier show because one of our guests can't make it to the later show, which might be better for people in the UK who actually want to watch it. We'll be there'll be a. I don't want to spoil this one too much because it's going to be a little bit controversial, and we're going to have a couple of guests who I know some people don't like, but it will make for an interesting conversation. So look forward to that because it's going to be a very interesting conversation. More information to come later in the week. Aside from that, I will be. I should be on Ring Show tomorrow with Jeff, and I will. I'm also on Critical Question. Will and I are both appearing on Critical Questions together on Monday. So
Thank you. That was what I was, because I always forget to plug Dave's streams when I do this. So yeah, I will be on a few of them in the upcoming week as
I
well.
think you're
so
the one that's Will and I are on, aren't you?
I think I am. I was
Yeah.
on standby today in case anyone pulled out.
Oh, you missed
So
it. All right.
yeah. Okay.
Again-
Well, you can do that wind up when we're off air,
Off
Jen.
air,
All right.
yes.
So
All right. Thank you once again, everyone. Thank you to everyone in the chat, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.